Hey there, my most amazing artist. I miss you guys so much. Have you ever been painting and kind of felt that it was a little bit boring, just like you were coloring in a coloring book picture? Well, today I am going to show you some texture secrets for watercolor. A couple of these we already did in class, but I have some new ones to share with you. They're going to be a lot of fun. We're going to play today and experiment, which is really, really important in your journey to becoming better and better at your art. So here we go. I'll have a supply list for you in just a minute. Let's go make some fun. All right, here we are again in my kitchen. Keep having to come down here. And I have my school Peter Rabbit apron on. So, in order to do textures with watercolor, we have got to get some things from the kitchen. First thing you need is salt. This is just a salt shaker full of salt. We already did salt in our classroom. You're gonna need some cling wrap or saran wrap, and it can be the dollar store version. It doesn't matter, cheap or as expensive as you wanna go. This just is what we had in the drawer. And you're going to need an egg. An egg? What? Yes, because you can use the egg yolk to make a kind of like a varnish over the watercolor, and it looks really cool. So you have to separate the white from the yolk. Let's talk about that. I have an egg separator. If you guys don't have one of these, I'm going to show you how to do it with your hands. And I need a cup to put the white in, and you're going to need to save the yolk. So you know what? I'm going to need 2 cups. Hang on just a second. Okay, I'm back. Let me get another egg too. Be right back. Okay, so the first one, we're gonna use the egg separator, which is the easiest way and the least messy. So you're gonna take your egg, give it a couple good whacks on the counter. Make sure you have your parents' permission before you do this. And it's super important that you wash your hands after you do this, because eggs have a bacteria on them called salmonella that can make you throw up, and you don't wanna throw up. So just wash your hands after you're done. No biggie. And if you'll notice, the white dripped right out and left the yolk inside the separator. The yolk is what I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back together again. And we will do the other egg with our hands. This is gonna be a little bit trickier. However, if you don't have an egg separator, this is how you can do this. Here we go. So, gonna take a little bit of that. I'm gonna just put the egg in my hand. Ew, it feels weird. And just very gently, just gonna kind of move around just a little bit till that white slips right off. You don't wanna move really hard or smash it, because there's like a little protective membrane over the egg yolk, and you don't wanna break that, because as soon as you break that, the egg yolk runs everywhere. So we don't wanna break it yet. We're going to in just a minute. So now that I have my white separated, I'm gonna add it to my other cup. Now what I need for this project is just an egg yolk. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop it and let it go in the cup. We're going to use this with our watercolor. So set your cup aside, put your eggshells in the trash, and go wash your hands. Alright, artists, today we're going to do some more experimenting with watercolor, which is so fun. So here's what you're going to need today. You're going to need some paper, a pencil, your watercolor set with a paintbrush, some water. That's your basics. Then for your experimental stuff, you're going to need crayons, the egg yolk that we did in the kitchen where we separated, bring that up, some plastic wrap, and some salt. Now today, I'm also going to use cookie cutters. So I have this set of cookie cutters that I just bought off eBay, because it's all different kinds of animals, and I thought my kids would really like to play with these and make cookies, but they haven't really done So we're going to use cookie cutters today to make some art with. That way you don't really have to draw. So here we go. Okay guys, if you don't have a cookie cutters, you can just draw anything, or you can just play with these textures. Just draw some squares and fill them up with watercolor. All right, so I'm gonna start with this elephant. And this is something I really like to do with cookie cutters. If you'll just hold them, you can trace around them and make your animal. Just trace, and you'll have to move your hand, so be careful when you take your hand off. Put your other hand on there so your cookie cutter doesn't shift. If you're not using a cookie cutter, just do the best you can to draw an animal. All right, so there's our elephant. So I'm going to use, let's see, I think for the elephant I'll actually use the plastic wrap because it's going to take the longest to dry. So what you're going to do is get a piece of plastic wrap, and I'm using this for the elephant because it makes wrinkles, and elephants have wrinkly skin, you guys, right? So get your plastic wrap. Now we're going to put a watercolor wash on the elephant. So you're going to get your water and your paint ready, and we're just going to give this elephant a little wash. I like blue elephants. How about you guys? Yeah. This is ultramarine blue. It's a pretty name, ultramarine, but to me it doesn't really sound, marine means ocean. I know the ocean is this color, but I always like to think of it as more of an aqua color. All right, make sure your wash is pretty dark. You want a good, you don't have to have a super dark color, but if you're using the washable paint, you want to make sure you get lots of pigment or paint on your brush. I'm not being really careful about staying in the lines. You can if you want. These are kind of big cookie cutters. I didn't think they were going to be this big, but that's okay. Okay, then I'm going to take your plastic wrap, lay it over the paint, and you're going to kind of make wrinkles in it. Do you see how I'm doing that? There we go. Make sure you're covering the whole elephant. Get some really good wrinkles in there. If you have a part that's dried, like I do right here, lift it up and just put some more water on there. Then get it, I mean, really bunch it up. You can really make lots of great texture with this. Yeah, yes. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside so it can dry, and we'll come back to it in just a minute and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, my next animal I'm going to do is, I'm gonna do giraffe. I love giraffes. They're my favorite animal. Make sure it's on the camera. I'm going to do it sideways like this. With a giraffe, I'm probably going to use, I don't know. I think I'll use the salt. And no, for the giraffe, I'm going to use the crayon. Now, we did the salt and the crayon in class. You want to push down on the cookie cutter so it doesn't slide around while you're going around with your pencil. Okay. So when we did the crayon, we used the wax as a resist. So, you know what? Should I do brown? I don't know. Yeah, I'll do brown. So I'm just gonna make the little spots and my crayon broke. Remember, my crayons are super old. So yeah, you can do wax resist with darker colors. It still will look really cool. And giraffes have pretty dark tails. And the spots get smaller as it goes down their legs. Okay, then I want to use yellow. I'm going to use this nice dark yellow, so really pop. Oh, look at that. Now you don't just have to do animals with this. You can do flowers. You could draw all kinds of pictures. You could do your pets. You could do pictures from your favorite book. You could even paint your comic strips that we did last week. That'd be kind of fun. Doing the cookie cutters is fun though, because it kind of takes the pressure off you for the drawing part, which is oftentimes the hardest part. And so you can still have fun with art. And sometimes if I'm not feeling like drawing, because I'm tired or whatever, but my hand's itching to paint, I will just trace some cookie cutters. We have a lot of cookie cutters at my house because they're lots of fun. All right, so there's the wax resist with a dark color. Looks pretty good, huh? All right, now let's do the salt. So we'll do salt with the turtle because, you know, we made our turtles out of salt clay. So we'll do salt with our turtle. And let's see, I want to do another wax resist. I think I have a sheep in here. I'll do wax resist with the sheep here in a second. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to do salt with the turtle. Pushing down on this while I trace around it. I don't want it to shift. If it does shift, you can just erase your pencil and fix it, because it happens. Okay, so there's my turtle. And I'm going to do a light colored wax resist with the sheep. That'll be fun. Oh, the sheep's going to be hard to do. I might have to stand up. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with standing up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that. We talked about that in class when we were tracing the Playmobil animals for our journals, for our nature journals. Talked about standing up so you could get a bird's eye view and see what to do. Oh, that rhymed. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so for the turtle, I'm gonna do salt. For the sheep, I'm gonna do white for the wax resist. So I'm gonna make little spirals. And if you look just the right way with the light shining off your paper, you'll be able to see your wax layer. Just keep moving your head down a little bit, trying to look kind of sideways at the paper, and you'll be able to see it. Just let the light glint off of the paper. So I'm making little spirals for the little curly sheep fur. You can draw texture too, you guys. You don't have to just use things like this. You can definitely make texture in your drawings. And we haven't talked about cross hatching, but that's a great way to do texture with pen and ink. Okay, so I've got my white wax resist. Now let's do my turtle. Now for the salt, you have to have your salt ready. Remember, you can't let the paint dry before you put the salt on it. The paint has to be wet. So let's get a good green for our turtle.
might need to do a darker green. And as you're painting, just sprinkle the salt on. I'm gonna get a little bit of darker green for this shell. There we go. Ooh, that would be cool. And letting those colors run into each other is what the fun of watercolor is as well. Just playing and having fun and seeing what it does, experimenting with it. I had a really hard time with that as a child. I did not want to experiment. I had to have everything just so. I've gotten a little bit better in my adult years. All right, now putting the salt on there. And we'll do the feet. Can you put salt on and then paint on afterwards? Yes. Does it look as good? Not quite. Can you go back over places with salt? Yes. Can you move the salt around? Yes. And oftentimes putting more watercolor on gives you a stronger salt. Of course, sometimes it does run together like this too, so I'm not sure that I really want that to happen. Okay, now let's go into the sheep. I don't really want any salt on my sheep, so I'm just gonna brush it over here. Leave the salt on your watercolor until it dries. You do not want to start trying to wipe this off and smear the watercolor. Trust me, I know from experience. Oh, you guys, I had to go get this teeny tiny little watercolor box again because I keep forgetting I don't have any black in that palette. So I'm gonna switch to this one, which is a favorite, but it's definitely heavy because it's made out of metal and it kind of weighs you down. Okay, so I'm gonna get some black. It is really cute though, isn't it? So cute. And this is gonna be our Baba black sheep. Have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. Look at that, you guys. That looks so cool. I love wax resist. It's probably the most like immediate gratification as far as, wow, look at that, you know, for watercolor. It's a lot of fun. I will never forget going to college, going to art school, and I had never done any of these experiments, never done any texture and watercolor, nothing. And I was just so excited when we started doing this stuff. If you want to get darker, just put on another layer. It should slide right off of the wax. Okay, and when our salt is dry, we'll come back and look at this. It might be about an hour. It's gonna take a lot longer to dry because of the salt, and that's okay. All right, our last one, friends, is going to be a monkey. My favorite animal besides a giraffe is a monkey. This one's gonna be really special. We're going to finally use our egg yolk for this one, but we're not going to use it right away. So let's trace our little monkey. Make sure it's cute. I love seeing monkeys at the zoo. I'll never forget going to the zoo right after my husband and I got married, and for some dumb reason I decided to stick my finger in the monkey cage. And that monkey almost bit my finger. My husband was like, "What are you doing? You're gonna get rabies. You're gonna ruin our trip. Sticking your finger in monkey cages." We did have some good news on that trip though, because the day before a baby giraffe had been born at the zoo, and I thought that was really cool. We saw it in the newspaper. Okay, so there's our monkey. If you have a part that you missed, just go back over it with your pencil, just like that. So for the monkey, we're going to use the egg yolk. Now the egg yolk is a glaze. It's called tempera. You can paint with it, but I'm gonna just show you how to glaze with it today. So I'm actually gonna get a little bit more detailed when I paint this monkey. So let me give it ears and eyes and a nose and a little mouth. That kind of looks like a bear. Let me fix that. There we go. So I am gonna do a little bit of an orange here and just kind of mix this up. I'm just kind of using what's left in my palette as well. And I just want to do some little, see how I'm just using my brush to make the fur? Just making the fur on my little monkey. And this is another way to make texture with your paintbrush. I want it to be a little bit more red as I get down in here. I'm using the very tip of my ballerina to do this. And I'm trying to go the same direction as the monkey's going. That also looks pretty cool when you do that. I don't want this monkey to just be one color. So in just a minute, I'm gonna put another color on. And then you'll see kind of, oh, did you see that magic? Oh, that looked cool, didn't it? Yes. Watercolor magic, you guys. Love it. I was obsessed. I still am obsessed with watercolor. You can do so many amazing things with it. And you know what? I need to go back to my other palette because we're not using the fancy art stuff right now. So hang on, let me go back to my other palette. This is a very furry monkey because this monkey lives somewhere where it's cold. Okay. Making the texture of the fur. It's okay if the paint is different colors. If the watercolor is, even though you're dipping it in the same place, it might be different colors depending on how much water's on your brush, depending on how much water's in your paint. And the only way to know is to just keep working with it and figuring it out. Okay, now I'm going to put a blue with this because the opposite of orange is blue. And I think it'll look really cool together. So I'm gonna start here where it's dry and just give him some blue in his fur. That's such a cute monkey. Let's give him a blue face. I'm just gonna give him a plain blue face. Now the thing with the egg tempera, you will kind of have to let your paint dry before you put the glaze of the egg yolk over it. This is a wild monkey, you guys. Oh, I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you enjoy these videos. I can't decide whether to keep making them in the summertime or not. I don't know. I might make a couple a week or one a week, just kind of depending on if I have some cool art ideas. Okay, the blue face, I'm not really liking that. It feels really flat, so I'm gonna go back here and get some more orange and just do a little, ugh, I kind of messed that up, but that's okay. Just do a little orange on his face. I'm just gonna paint over the mouth, why not? Oh goodness, well there we go. The face didn't turn out that great, but that's okay. We can go back in with a pen and make it look better. All right, now we're gonna let this dry and when we come back, we will see the magic of the egg yolk. Okay, friends, so we are up here in the attic and we have really tiny little closets up here that are just under the eaves of the roof. But I'm using this iPhone for a light. Inside the closet, there's a puppy. What are you doing in there, huh? You looking for squirrels? Where are you going? Come back. Abby, come here. Oh, you don't want to be on the film, huh? You don't want to be in the movie? All right, bye. Now, Abby
Abby's in the other closet. You're in the other one, aren't you? What are you doing? Is it a squirrel? She's always in here looking for squirrels and birds. Where'd you go? Oh, way back there, huh? I see you. Bye. So here is a little mini tour of our attic. There's a little door and a big door. And some clothes stored, windows. And there's the other little tiny closet that the dog loves so much. And there is a rug painted on the floor.
Okay, you guys, welcome back. I've let the paint dry a little bit. It's not completely dry, but we're gonna go ahead and peel this off and see how our elephant turned out. Look at that. It's all wrinkly, just like an old elephant. You can use your pen to add details, even if your elephant isn't dry. You can draw his little ear on. Oh, it's so cute. You can even do an outline. Like if your paint got smashed and pulled out of your picture, if you'll outline it with your pen, it'll help whoever's looking at your work to understand what you were doing a little bit better. And it kind of cleans it up. So just use your pen, draw a little outline. I put a little tusk in there, you know, just because I wanted to. So there you go. The saran wrap or the plastic wrap makes it look really cool, doesn't it? Okay, let's go into our next one. So you guys saw the giraffe, and it looks pretty nice dry. And then our sheep and our turtle. Now my turtle's not dry. It won't be dry for a long time. But when it is, the salt will probably just stay there. But it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Yeah. And when it's dry, you can go in and add more detail. I probably won't do too much because I don't want the salt to ruin my pen. But you can kind of add some of the little places on his shell and things like that. Uh-oh, got salt all over my pen, guys. There we go. Got it going again. All right, so last is our monkey. So get your egg yolk ready, because guys, I'm so sorry I had to turn on the light. I didn't realize how dark it had gotten all of a sudden. I don't know if we're gonna have a storm or what. Anyway, I turned on the light. So with your pen, you can add details. Go back in and draw the details for your little monkey. You can outline it. This is a big monkey. And then get your brush. Now you're gonna need to wet your brush. You don't wanna put a dry brush right in this egg yolk because it's really thick. You're gonna get it mixed up, get some water in there and get it kind of thin, just a little bit, not a whole lot. See how I'm kind of wiping out on the edge of my cup? Then I'm gonna go over this with the wash of the egg yolk. And it puts a beautiful glaze on the painting. Now, one thing about this is bugs will want to eat it, so make sure you keep it put away where bugs can't get to it. But it will dry, it won't stink. It won't stink into rotten egg stinkiness. Of course, you'll need to get rid of the leftover egg yolk because that will stink. But this will dry and it won't be very smelly at all. And look how cool that looks. It's all shiny. And I like how the yellow of the yolk kind of gives it an old-fashioned look. Kind of like an old picture. And there you go. You can't go over and over and over this because as it dries, it gets kind of like, it kind of pulls at your brush a little bit and you'll have brush strokes through there. Make sure you rinse off your brush and wash it really, really well. You don't want that egg drying in there because it's very waxy. And then clean your water cup too. All right, and then let this dry and you will see how cool it will look when it's dry. So there you go, guys. There's your monkey. I hope you have lots of fun with all of these textures for watercolor in whatever project you're doing. If you're doing any kind of painting, try to figure out what kind of extra textures you can put in there and extra fun you can have with it. All right, good luck to you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.